let's talk about how perfection is not a prerequisite for progress. But we often think it is, or at least we tell ourselves that, so then we won't even start because we think if we can't do it exactly as it's air quotes supposed to be done, then it's just not going to work out. So then why even try? And so this is for whenever you find yourself in that rigid thinking, like in order to get any fruit from the labor or for it to be worthwhile at all, it needs to be perfect. If you want to throw in a baseball metaphor here. I don't really know much at all about baseball, but I know that the batting average is out of however many thousand at bats, right? So, but like excellent is point 0.3. If they get 300 hits out of 1,000 at bats, that's excellent. And 400 would be like barely attainable or achievable, something like that. A quick Google research. But the point is, the 1,000 out of 1,000 just isn't going to happen. That's not going to happen. And every single day of adding in this new habit that you're doing or taking action towards a goal, it's not going to happen. That's fine. That's normal. That's expected. That is actually perfect because we're not robots. We are people living actual lives that have unexpected things that happens. Our energy goes up and down, and our moods and our responsibilities for ourselves and for our families and people we care about, that's going to ebb and flow. And we need to know what consistency actually looks like. Redefining consistency on her terms, what does it actually look like for you in this season? What actually sparked me to think about this is I was doing my nails the other day. I was painting my little one's nails with her piggy polish, the non-toxic, safe as mud piggy polish. And then I was painting my nails. And as I was painting my nails, I was making a mess all over my fingertips. Like I just didn't even really care too much if I was outside the lines, because I knew later on in the day when I took a shower and after washing my hands multiple times throughout the day, that eventually the paint that's in the margins, like around my cuticles, it just easily peels or wipes off. I didn't even have to do a Q-tip and get nail polish remover or anything or worry about it because I knew eventually it was going to wipe off. And then I would have the nail just, or the polish just on my nails. And I was thinking about that because I was thinking of how many friends and people over my life have been like, oh, you paint your own nails? I could never, I can't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm wondering, I haven't asked and followed up for those specific people who have told me that, but I was just wondering, do they think that you have to do it perfectly, like to be able to do it? Because I'm making a complete mess and it's still going to look great when it's done because all the margins will wipe off and then it'll be a manicure just on my nails. But I'm like, I wonder if they were thinking in order to paint your nails, you have to get it all just on the nail or bust. Because even the professionals don't do that. If you go get a manicure, they have the little bowl of nail polish remover and a beautiful brush, and they can clean up around the lines if there's any beyond the edges. But that's normal. Even the professional nail artists get the color outside the line sometimes. So of course we will, and we still have the same outcome. Polish on the nail, manicure, check. We still get the same result. And it's okay that it's messy along the way. So that was the aha from the manicure that made me think I wanted to anchor this in for us to remember, like if we think that there's this perfect way to approach it, and unless everything is just lined up and ready to go to support that perfect path, we can't start. That's actually not true. It's actually an excuse. It's okay. That happens. Our brains serve those up. But now we can acknowledge it actually doesn't have to be perfect to make progress. It makes me think of that. There's an infographic, like, or a doodle that I've seen shared on social media. And it's like what you think consistency looks like, and it has a bunch of circles, say 5 circles or 10 circles, and one is full, the next one is fully colored in, the next one is fully colored in, and they're all just perfectly colored in. And then it says below that what consistency actually looks like. And one might be fully colored in, and the next one is half. And then the next one is a quarter, and the next one is empty. And then the next one is half, and the next one is full. And it's just little bits and bobs that we're chipping away and making progress. And it's going to be more some days and less some days, and even blank some days. And that's okay, because that's when we get the choice to double opt in and renew our vows of commitment to whatever it is that we're doing. Like, yeah, this is worth it. And no, it may not happen every single day, but that's okay because it's still worth it to me. I'm still going to show up for this thing when I can, as I can. And that reminds me of, I recently listened to the book called Finish by John Acuff. And one of the concepts that stood out, I read a lot of books and listen to a lot of podcasts and things. And so it doesn't all stick in my mind, but I figure my brain is like a filter, and every now and then it's like when you're panning for gold. I got to do that once. It was cool. But when you're painting for gold and then like the little nugget that sticks. And so one of the nuggets that stuck out of that book for me was the way he describes it, which is the day after perfect. And it's like, how do you show up for yourself the day after perfect, which means like the day after the first day that you broke the streak, for example. We've talked about streaks and stacks, and I'll link to all these related episodes in the show notes, but it's basically all the episodes around this one that I've been talking about habits and things that have been helpful to me in creating new habits and layering things in. But I love that concept of the day after perfect. It's like, how do you show up the day after you didn't? You know, the day that things changed and you don't have the full amount of time, energy, resources, or whatever to give to it. How are you still going to show up? And how are you going to get back in the game and give yourself permission to have taken whatever break, whether you wanted to or not, however, whatever went down? How are you going to show up? Like, not give up just because it didn't go, air quotes, perfectly, what you thought perfect was going to look like. And that's the invitation for us in this message, is how can we redefine what perfect is? And perfect is, it's a solid commitment, like parenting and marriage. You know, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to get along all the time. It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies every time that we see our kids, but we're committed. There's no doubt. I'm going to do what I need to do to be able to take care of my babies and give them the best chance in feeling like fulfilled, contributing humans as they go and grow. So I'm committed, and no, I'm not a air quotes perfect mom, but I hope that with time and therapy and resources, I can help them see if I've been the perfect mom for them, you know? Okay, so that's the idea. It really started with the manicure, with the messy manicure. And I'm like, why would people say they can't paint their nails? Because you can do it and it can be really messy and still turn out great. And that's the point, that the perfection isn't required for progress, but even then you could redefine perfection. And instead of making it like a robotic, sterile, cookie cutter factory setting, it is the mess that is the perfection. And it's the how we're feeling about it as we're actually doing it, and how we get to develop that sense of resilience and confidence when we still keep showing up the day after perfect. And we give that little bubble of the day, heart bubbles in my examples, you know, like self fan biz is how I like to think of it, with the recycle emoji. And on the days when we fire on all three of those cylinders, we're going to feel most powerful, most true, most like ourselves, like fulfilled at the end of each day, month, year, and lifetime. You know, if we can just keep checking back in with ourselves. And so some of the days the heart bubble may feel fuller than others, but if we could just give it like a little doodle, just even a stripe, just a little line through it, just a little something something. And then on the days that we just missed it, like I just missed it, you know, I didn't fill that bubble in any way that day, how do we show up the next day and not just give up, to be like, well, guess I got to give up forever. That's never going to happen now. I know that logically we can see at this moment, like, that's not logical. It doesn't actually make sense. But if you're anything like me, sometimes your brain kind of tries to take you down that path as if, oh, yeah, just give up, even though you know you don't want to. You don't want to. A little bit is enough for us to just keep your finger on it, keep showing up, check out the book, finish. It's a good one. And it was a quick, I mean, it's an easy to finish book. It was only, I think, maybe a 4 or 5 hour audiobook. Or maybe that was just how I was listening to it, but I think it was. I don't think it was a big long book anyway, but the day after perfect, I love that idea. And just think about that messy manicure. It's okay to doodle outside the lines, to wibble wobble. There's not a track that we're falling on or off of or anything like that. And I think I've mentioned that in another one of these episodes. Like, there's no track to fall off of. We're not falling off of the planet Earth. We're here. So we might as well just get back up and move on in whatever form you want to do. All right. Hope that's helpful. Let me know. Hit the link in the comment box, and I'll meet you back here soon.